Savannah Boom Airport to get your taxi, and it's bang, and that's the first time you get the Thailand smell as well, and it's like, yeah, this is it. Here I am. I'm here.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Richard Travels Saturday Live Show. Excited for today's show. We have a great guest joining us today in Greeny Travels, joining us live from his quarantine hotel in Bangkok. So this will be very exciting. So wanted to let you guys know if anyone's new to the live stream today, I do have a recorded video series. I sound like a broken record for those of you that come every week, but I do have a series called Richard Returns to Thailand, parts 1 through 9 happening now, and I have part 10 in the works, actually filming some additional what I call B-roll today at the San Francisco airport. So I'll be trying to finish that up soon. It's going to be an epic video, so I'm quite excited about that. Just wanted to say hats off to all the moderators today. I see them in the house here. I feel like I have the best moderators in all of YouTube. So I appreciate everyone kind of coming in and helping out, removing any chat messages that may be suspect in regards to the terms and conditions of YouTube. I want to make sure that we stay with all of that and make sure that we're not violating any rules. They can be pretty tough these days. And with that in mind, you know, we all know what's going on in America right now with the political race and everything. I will have to remove any chat comments that get to be political. So unfortunately, guys, I'd love to have that conversation, but YouTube just won't allow it. So moderators, if you do see any comments of that nature, if we can just remove those, that would be great. We don't want to get any kind of yellow dollar signs at the end of the chat. So that'd be great. But just wanted to real quick ask you guys, what do you think of the Chuck No Time to Be Sad live stream last week? Wasn't he great? I really felt like, man, Chuck was awesome last week, and I really appreciated having him on the live show. He actually shared my video. He mentioned my video on a couple of his, and it's really contributed to the fact that that live stream has been the best performing live stream of all my live streams so far. So hats off to Chuck, man. He's a super nice guy. I kind of teased him a little bit that I was, you know, texting him every day trying to get him on the show. And I will tell you one thing about Chuck. What you see on the videos is what he's like in real life. Just complete gentleman, very nice and polite in returning my text messages. You know, a lot of time it was not a good time. He was traveling around with Paige and whatnot, but he was always responsive. So I really appreciate that about Chuck, and I look forward to meeting him when I get back out there to Thailand. So I think that'll be great. Let me go to chat and welcome some people in here. We got a good group with me today. That's great. Let's see who we got here. Hey, see, Peter Hopkins made it again this week. Thank you, Peter. Happy Saturday. Bad Badger, good evening. Welcome to the live stream. I don't know if you guys might have noticed, I actually included Bad Badger's wife, Lisa, in the intro. So that was nice. I was thinking about that last night when I was buttoning everything up for today's live stream. I was thinking, oh man, I should probably get Lisa in there because I had her come out the last time. So I put her in there, which is great. Tommy J saying, hello all. If anyone knows anyone planning to retire in Thailand, please share this video. That would be great. Are you experienced, Don? Pattaya, Pattaya. Love you, Makma. I think you're supposed to say Makmak or Makma, probably Makma. That's all right, Don. Everyone subscribe to Greeny Travels. He'll be coming up with us momentarily, which will be great. Yeah, and it's going to be great. It's, so Greeny, you know, who he likes to go by the nickname Greeny. We spoke a couple of days ago, and it was interesting when we were speaking on the practice session, in that his phone rang in the hotel during when we were talking, and they were calling to check up on him. And I think it was probably about like 10 o'clock at night. He told me they call like twice a day, in the morning and in the evening, to check and see how he's feeling, any symptoms, this kind of stuff. So he's going to talk to us about not only what it's like being in the hotel. And I got to tell you guys, no matter how nice your hotel is in the quarantine, you're still locked in a hotel. And, you know, he's done a couple videos now about his experience in the quarantine. I got to tell you, you know, just not being able to go out and get food when you want, or go out to get snacks when you want, that's got to be tough. So definitely looking forward to kind of, you know, hang on, let me just post something in here for Greeny. Let me just do this. Need to invite Greeny in. Let me copy this. I'll post this in the chat for Greeny, and then mods, if you could just remove that link that I put in there once Greeny gets in to the chat and to the end of the live stream, that'd be great. Perfect. Yeah, so it was pretty interesting. So when I was talking to him, yeah, he was telling me all the stuff he has to go through on a day-to-day basis. And he's done a great job of capturing this in the video. And we'll talk to him about specifically around what type of visa he used to get into Thailand, because that's the big topic of the conversation today. Is, you know, a lot of us are hearing, well, can we get back to Thailand? Can we not get back to Thailand? You know, what's going on? So, you know, he's actually chosen to use a different type of visa to actually get in to Thailand. So we're going to talk to him about that and what the flight was like, checking in. So Greeny is actually from Michigan. So that's a difficult flight. You know, those of us that are on the West Coast, if you live in Seattle or Los Angeles or San Francisco, it's really just one connection, either in Taipei or the Philippines or Hong Kong, something like that. So it's usually a pretty direct flight, which is nice. But he's got a couple connections that he was talking about, and he was talking to me about how difficult it was in the US airport. I guess what they want to do is make sure that when they let you on the flight, they're not going to have to send you back into America on a different flight. So I thought that was kind of funny. I mean, he really sounded like he had to go through the gauntlet to get over there. And I was getting a kick out of like talking about all that stuff. Let me just go over here. Bad Badger says he already subbed to Greeny Travels, which is awesome. So that is cool, and everyone should sub to that channel, because not only does he have you know, videos on the current quarantine that he's going through in Thailand, but he is somewhat of a world traveler. So I was talking to him about this on the practice session. He's been all over the world, and he's got some great videos on Turkey. So he just launched one today that was a cool little town in Turkey that he explored, and some really cool buildings that were kind of built in to the rock. It almost looks like they carved that into the rock, and that was someone's house. So just nuts, man. It would really look great. So definitely got a lot of experience traveling around. And just see here, Go More Hike saying showtime. Great, appreciate that. Appreciate everyone that sat through the intro. Hi everyone, Simo's World, nice to see you. Day State Fox Funky intro, love it. Nice. Welcome to the live stream, Day State. Appreciate that, man. And Bad Badger saying, like it, got the wifey on the intro. I'm glad she liked that, man. I was thinking I should probably get her on there. And I would just say, so, we'll have this live stream today at the end. I do have an outro video that has some outtakes or some clips from the No Time to Be Sad live stream. So some cool things that Chuck said during the live stream. And I would say, if you didn't see that live stream, it may kind of whet your appetite to kind of go back and watch it. Or if you did watch it, maybe go back and watch it again, see if you might have missed some things. I'd appreciate that. Daystate Fox says, good to watch parts 1 through 9 in lockdown. Yeah, thank you, Daystate. So Daystate texted me and said he was going to binge watch 1 through 9 during the lockdown, because they're back in another lockdown there in the UK. So I appreciate you watching that. I appreciate every view. Appreciate that. And Bad Badger says, enjoyed Chuck. That was great. So I definitely... That was a great interview. That was easy for me, kind of just like a conversation, two guys talking. And, like he said, I've been after him for a while, and I really appreciate him coming on the show. Carl D saying, hello all. Great. Mango Sticky Rice. Aloha, Richard. Hello, how are you doing today? Carl D asking, Richard, do you think February for Pattaya? So, man, I'm dreaming of February, but I don't know if it's so realistic. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. A lot of things are up in the air, really dependent on some things happening, not so much on Thailand's side, but on like America. And look at the UK and Australia going back into a lockdown. So you have most of Europe going into lockdown. I think that's gonna really deter a lot of people from coming over. So I think in the US, we're kind of on a wait and see attitude. So to your specific question, I would love to go in February, but we'll see. We'll see. Like I was saying earlier, I think the last couple of weeks, so the part 10 of Richard Returns to Thailand that's the end of the series, but it's kicking off a new series. And that will kind of speak to Carl's question around February. So yeah, definitely some changes coming up for me, which will be great. And looking forward to kind of talking to you about that on part 10. Great. Let me just sit here. Peter Hopkins saying, optimistic, praying vaccine works. Politicians and media painted us in a corner. It's the only way I can see us out. I think, so the vaccine will definitely help things, kind of free up things. One thing you have to remember is, your home country will get the vaccine quickly, in America, in the UK, anywhere in Europe. But Thailand and some of these other countries like Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam may not get it so quickly. So that's what we want, is for those individuals to kind of get that vaccine quickly to make it easier for us to travel there. Great. So let's go ahead and keep the comments coming in. One more from Peter Hopkins talking about Greeny Travels. So he watched Greeny Travels, excellent vids. Question, why did he pick that hotel? Can he get food delivery, alcohol, use the pool, etc.? If his recent test is negative, only way I think I could do 14 days. So you're going to be in for a surprise. I know answers to all those questions, but I'm going to leave you hanging, because what I want to do is bring Greeny into the live stream. That's actually a nice segue into talking about a lot of that. So let me go ahead and do this. Let me welcome Greeny into the Saturday Live Show. Greeny.
Hey, Richard. How you doing tonight, or this afternoon for you?
Yeah, it's actually morning for me and afternoon for the East Coast. And I got to tell you, so it's so funny. Let me just do this. So it's so funny. When I saw you come into the green room, I saw that you had a little bit of a glow to you today. And I was thinking, did you fall asleep on the balcony next to the pool there?
Yesterday. Today was pretty cloudy, overcast, but yesterday I spent a lot of time in the sun. Yep. And when I talked to you the other day, I had a real bad internet connection, so I was right by the front door where I get a better signal. But today it seems to be working better. So I kind of have like this light kind of over me.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, so it's a little different spot in the room.
Great. Well, officially welcome to the Saturday Live Show, man. I'm so excited to have you on today. I found you on YouTube and I reached out right away, and I'm like, I got to have this guy come on. So thank you for making the time, because wow, you have some interesting stories to tell for all of us that are so like itching to get back to Thailand. So I would love to we talked about this a couple of days ago, but I'd love to kind of rehash maybe your experiences kind of starting in Michigan, what that was like from even the arrival at the airport for you in the US. I know you had shared with me some of the difficulties you had, all the paperwork you had to bring. Could you kind of let us know a little bit about what that experience was like in America, kind of getting out?
Well, so I started in Detroit. I flew to Chicago. There's only several hubs that you can fly out of from the U.S. So I flew to Chicago, and when I got there, I had all my paperwork with me. And the first thing you do is you get up to the counter and deal with the employees from the airlines, Eva Air. And the guy that was in front of me in line, actually, I saw him panicking. He's on his, it's 10, 11 o'clock at night, and he's on his cell phone. And I'm listening to what he's saying, and he's talking to somebody on the phone saying, "I need another COVID test result. You don't have my date of birth on here." And they were very, very tight on what they would accept, and that was to get on the airline. I think they don't want to fly you out to Thailand and find out that they got to ship you back, because when I got to Thailand, I went through immigration. I mean, they were just scouring my paperwork. The insurance is the biggest one, and obviously they look at your COVID test, and you have to get a fit to fly certificate from a doctor. But you probably saw my video anyways. But so the week before I was leaving, 2 days before my flight, I went and saw a doctor, a friend of a friend, and he filled out my fit to fly certificate, just basically saying you haven't been sick in like the last 2 weeks or whatever. And he promised me I'd get my COVID test by the day I was leaving, which I was on pins and needles, but he got it for me, and everything went good, and I got to Thailand. And I mean, they really look at that insurance. They want to. Mine said no maximum. It has to be like over $100,000 insurance, so it's written no maximum. But I think what they were looking for was a dollar amount on my piece of paper. The immigration guys. So they're looking at it, and I had to basically point everything out, and then they circled it and underlined it, and so they're pretty thorough.
Yeah, I think
not to mention I had to show it to 5 people on the way through the airport.
It's amazing. So one thing that resonated for me, you were talking about being in, was it the Detroit airport, flying out?
I flew from Detroit to Chicago. Chicago's the main hub where I flew from. That's where the repatriation flight is.
So one thing that it sounds like you really have to focus on the details of all of your paperwork. You had talked about the COVID test. So you have to have the date of birth on there, right? So that was important. And one guy got denied. So I think one thing you're telling me, so he was on the phone trying to get it like a new one. Did you have the date of birth on yours?
Yeah, mine was from the lab, and it had everything. It was very complete. That's another thing. It can't be like from the doctor's office saying you took the COVID test. It has to be from the lab. And luckily they sent me all the correct information. When I took the test, they gave me like an ID number and the website to the lab. So I just kept checking on that Wednesday that I was leaving, and then bam, there it was, and just printed out a PDF, and it had everything in it, luckily.
Yeah, and I think so. I know the answer to this question because I watched your video on the particular visa you chose to go over to Thailand on. But for those that might not have seen your video on this, do you want to talk about your decision to go with the retirement visa versus the STV visa that was being offered?
Right. Yeah, it really wasn't a decision. I was in Thailand last year, and you know what happened. I ended up having to come back home early for my trip, and I wanted to go back, and especially with the way that Thailand's handled the current situation, this is where I wanted to be. I retired last year, and I don't want to be sitting in Michigan freezing my butt off all winter. So about August, I started really looking into it and figuring out what I could do. And the first thing I actually did is because there was no way to get in, so I'm trying to think ahead of time. I'm trying to think, what's going to be the first thing to open. And I called the Thai embassy in the U.S. I'm like a pain in their butt. Sorry, I don't. Can we swear on here? I don't know.
Yeah, you can swear on here. That's okay.
Okay. I don't want to get you banned or anything.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So the first thing I did is I signed up for a language school in Thailand. I figured, all right, maybe because I think it was about July, August, they opened it up to education. But when you read the fine print, it was just for universities, like formal schools, government-sponsored schools, not private schools. So, but I figured, well, maybe that'll be next. So I applied, and I did pay $300. They wanted $500. I said, I'm not sending you that much, but I sent them $300. They sent all my paperwork into the Ministry of Education, and I got an acceptance letter, and I got an invitation letter from them to go to language school. So I had that in hand. I also, went ahead and got my background investigation from the state police in Michigan. I had to get fingerprinted and send that in. And so I had everything in hand, just waiting for them to open up the education visa. Then they did the STV visas. So I immediately got on the phone and talked to the Thailand long stay tourist agency in Bangkok. I guess that's what it's called, something like that. And talked to them on the phone. They said, we don't know what countries are going to be allowed yet, this and that. But they wanted me to send me my passport, just to have everything ready. So I had that in the mix. And so while I'm waiting for that, I'm in Turkey. I figured there's no chance I'm coming to Thailand. So plan B, I was looking around. I ended up going to Turkey beginning of September. And so I'm sitting there and I'm checking this every day to see what the chances are going to Thailand. And I saw retirement visa. You can do it now. I immediately got on the phone and called the embassy in the United States from Turkey. And they said, yep, it's open. Go ahead and apply and, go online. You have to go online and submit everything online. So I immediately got online. I called the airlines. I got my airline ticket that night, and I set up a flight coming home from Turkey the following Monday. This was a Friday. Came on Monday, and I think by Tuesday I had my acceptance on the internet application, and I just mailed all the hard copies in the consulate in Chicago. Once you do the process, you apply through the U.S. Embassy, and then depending on where you live, it'll either be L.A., Chicago, or D.C. that you deal with. And I had to deal with Chicago.
So you got all that out of the way, and I guess then you're pretty excited. You're thinking, I'm going to go. Like, I got the green light. You're getting all your paperwork in order. So I want to kind of continue that story. Like, so you're on the way to Bangkok. You arrive in Bangkok finally. If you almost must feel a little conflicted. I'm thinking, if it's me, I'm thinking, I'm here, but am I really here? Are they going to turn me back around? Or were you kind of a little concerned walking into Bangkok, like, I hope I get in? Or were you pretty confident?
No, I mean, I had the retirement visa, I had the COE, I had everything. But that's one thing that had me on pins and needles, was waiting for that COE. So once you have the visa and everything, that doesn't mean anything. You have to get a certificate of entry. And that didn't come for like over a week later. And I'm sitting on pins and needles. I'm trying to call them because I had to pay for my hotel. And it got to the day that I had to pay for the hotel. And I talked to a couple of my friends in Thailand. And one girl said, don't pay for your hotel. She said, don't pay for it until because they won't give you your money back, And luckily it came through that Thursday, and my money was due that Thursday. So that was my biggest panic, is waiting for that COE. So anyways, once I got it, and once I got on that flight in Chicago, stress was over. I was good to go.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be an issue once I got to Thailand.
And it's one of the things you said in your videos, you made sure you had more than enough paperwork. Like, you had backup plans, plan B, plan C, all your paperwork was in order. I think probably that's the best thing to do, right? Is bring too much versus not enough, because they were asking you stuff around, who are you staying with? Do you have any friends here? Do you have a copy of your friend's ID? Stuff that I wouldn't actually think about. I mean, how were you so smart to think, like, I need to get my friend's ID, picture of that? How'd you know to do that?
Well, when you apply, you have to put somebody's name when you actually do your initial application. And I remember I had to do this last year too, when I got a tourist visa. And so you have to put a reference in the United States. I put one of my kids. It says it could be family, but then you have to put a reference person in Thailand on your application. So I needed all the information, so I had it all on the ID that was in my phone. And luckily, I'd never erased it or nothing. It was still in there from when I had it from filling out the application. And it was very lucky that I had it in there. I didn't expect that question. They also asked me, where I was staying after the quarantine. And they said, what is this address? Because they kind of recognize it's off Sukhumvit. And I'm like, that's the Holiday Inn. They're like, well, how long are you staying there for? I said, 4 days. They're like, but you're moving to Thailand. What do you mean you're staying there 4 days? I'm like, well, I got to look for a place. I don't, I got kicked out I had to leave last year, and I don't, because last year I was kind of planning on laying the groundwork a little bit more, but everything came to an end real quick.
That's where I wish, you could be somewhat humorous to the Thai people, but dry sense of humor would not. I feel like my dry sense of humor does not translate. Like, if I was to tell them, listen, so I'm not moving to the Holiday Inn. Just FYI, I'm moving to an apartment somewhere in Thailand.
Right.
Because like 4 days is long enough in the Holiday Inn.
No, I was kidding. I was kidding around with them, but they're
Yeah.
pretty straight. They're pretty straight faced. But I mean, at that point, I'd already been through. When I'm coming through the airport, I had to deal with 2 health workers. First one checked all my paperwork. Went to another one. She checked all my paperwork, put a sticker on it. Another one gave me like a placard for which hotel I was going to. Then I got through the line. Then you get to immigration, and the first set of immigration officers you deal with. There's 2 sitting at a table. Well, actually, there's a whole line of them, and there's glass in front, and they're just talking to you through a little thing, and you have to give them all your paperwork. And they asked me a ton of questions. I figured after I was done with them, and I'm just going to the regular immigration guy that looks at your passport, looks at your visa. I remember last year with the tourist visa, they looked at it and didn't ask one question. I walked through. Well, this time, it was like they wanted to know why I was coming there. Like, basically, why are you returning to Thailand? I'm like, I felt like saying to them, do you know what's going on in the United States? Like, Michigan has, they had 5,000 COVID cases the other day. Thailand's had less than that the whole time. That's been reported anyways.
Yeah, I thought one of the funnier stories, I laughed out loud when you told me about this, or when you mentioned this on the video, was around the COVID test. I don't know if this was at the airport. I believe this was at the airport where they gave you a test and they had the plexiglass up, but it was so high up your nose that you kind of sneezed.
That was here.
That was
my COVID test 2 days ago here. They give you, day 5, they give you a COVID test. Yeah, so I walk out, they come and get me, and I had no clue. And he's like swab or whatever. So this hotel I'm in, it's about as long as a football field. So we walk all the way outside to the front of the building, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Around the corner, and then they had a desk with, big glass with just 2 holes in it. Yeah, I had to stick my face up there, and yeah, like I said, the nose part wasn't that bad, but the throat, I mean, she made me gag. And if that glass wasn't there, I'm sure like I would have just coughed and whatever.
Yeah, and I've never heard of that, like the nose and the throat.
Yeah,
swab.
I asked them. They said that's how we do it in Thailand. That's what they told me. I said I've never had it in the throat and both nostrils.
Yeah, wow.
Before I left, the COVID test was in one nostril before I left. She did both nostrils and the throat. Yeah, so.
I think one of the titles of one of your videos is "I think she touched my brain."
Yep, that was a girl. Maybe I'm just sensitive. Maybe I'm just sensitive in my nostril and my throat.
I'm so scared to get that. So I've been with my mom when she's had one of the COVID tests done in the car before she had to go in for a procedure in the hospital, and she said it was pretty rough. That if they go up pretty high. And she's got a very high tolerance for pain. She had me.
I think some of them are better than others at giving the test because, I was just watching, today I was watching Lost LeBlanc because I have nothing to do but watch travel videos in here. And he just made a new one leaving the Turkey airport in Istanbul. They're giving tests because they were going to Egypt. And I watched them do it, and it was nothing like the ones they do to me. I mean, it was like they just went like that, and that was that. But I mean, these people are jamming it. Maybe it's because my nose is so big. I don't know.
That's the downside of having a larger nose. They have to go in there a little more deeply.
Right.
So I do want to switch gears a little bit and talk about Peter Hopkins' question because so I just assume so you have a nice hotel there. It's, it's a larger room, what I would consider a larger room. But I got to tell you, I don't know if I could do what you're doing, Greeny, because it seems like, so your meals come to you, you can't go out to get extra snacks, this kind of stuff. Do you want to kind of answer some of these questions? Like, why did you pick the hotel you're in? Can you get food delivery, alcohol? That'd be my first question. Can I get alcohol? And I'm assuming probably not, but you want to kind of go through some of those?
No alcohol. You know what? I wish I had a little vodka for this orange juice right now, but or a beer. No alcohol, no outside food, no Food Panda, no nothing. If somebody brings you something like a package or something that you need, they go through it and then they put it in like a different package and bring it here. I mean, they're all in like hazmat suits. It's very they're pretty professional here. I mean, it's no joke. I mean, they're not messing around with this. I mean, as far as the hotel goes, why I picked this one, I'm gonna have a video in a couple days. I'm already working on it that I'll give a tour, and I was in another room, a small room, and I'll go through which hotel I was at and all that type of stuff. They started with when I first started checking, there was 26 ASQ hotels, and then there was 80 something, and then when I picked this one, there was 90 something, and this was one of the newer ones. And I had looked through and I read reviews and went on a GoDaddy. I mean, I did a lot of thorough investigating on these different hotels. And this one actually has a not a balcony, but like I'm on the main level with a patio. And if we were allowed to swim, which we're not, they have like police tape, blocking off the pool, but I could just jump right into the pool from my room. And it's like a private pool for all these rooms here. And it's huge. It's a huge pool. And it's a very big patio too. And I can lay out in the sun. And yeah, I think I would go insane if I didn't have that. I mean, I was looking at other ones with a balcony, but then when I saw this one, I'm like, I don't care how crappy the room is or the food or whatever, as long as I can go outside, that's all that I cared about.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important to kind of keep your wits about you. Now, you're on a 15-day quarantine, right? How many days are you on day 7 now?
Yeah, I'm like halfway. So right now it is Saturday night here, and I get to leave next Saturday morning. So
okay. And I know you had mentioned to me you're looking forward to one of the metrics where you actually you get to go outside a little bit more. You get to go actually outside the room. When does that happen? Does that happen on day 10?
You know what? I think it can happen after your first COVID test, but nobody said it. They haven't said anything to me about it. And you know what? I'm content enough just going on my little balcony. So I think it's just another little area like that the people that don't have rooms like this can go to. So I haven't even inquired about that. I'm just going to stay in my room and go outside on my balcony. I actually, there's a guy from Scotland directly across from me, and there was a couple ladies from, that were Thai ladies that returned from other countries, and there's a guy from Colorado. Like I can go out there and just talk to people from across the pool, so it's not bad.
That's great. At least you can kind of have some communication. That's helpful.
Yeah.
But now I got to tell you, so the meals you showed on your video, nothing to write home about. Breakfast looked a little small. I did see some eggs, some waffles. It looked like they're always including hot dogs in these breakfasts. You feel like you're losing weight there? Are you getting enough to eat?
There's a scale in the room. I lost 2 pounds this week. And that's with I like running and doing things, but I've done absolutely nothing. So you'd think that I'd gain weight just like sitting on my ass for a whole week. Well, I've lost 2 pounds, and I am starting to feel hungry all the time. Because it's a lot of rice and it's all pretty much Thai food, and it's not the Thai food that I would order in a restaurant here. It's like it's just weird, a lot of rice, a lot of some seafood that I don't know what it is, and I've had fish cakes and different things like that, but this is like little fritters or something they give you, and those hot dogs aren't the best.
No, I know. I've had those hot dogs that look like that, at least in Thailand. They do not taste very good. I don't know what they're made out of. But question for you then, is it sort of like when you're on an airplane going to Thailand and that you get an Eastern selection, a Western selection, you kind of choose? Do you have some kind of choice?
Maybe it's a Isan selection and a Bangkok selection. I don't know. It's just all Thai food. Yeah, there's no Western selection. One night I did have spaghetti, and it wasn't bad. And then another night I had like a spaghetti with a white sauce with ham, and that had no taste whatsoever. I wish that I had Parmesan cheese or something. But other than that, it's been all Thai food.
So are you getting 3 meals a day plus like a snack or something? How are they?
3 meals a day come with the package, and my package was 39,000 baht, so about a little over $1,200. And so you get 3 meals a day. You get a bunch of water in your room, pretty much 4 waters a day. And then there's a bunch of snacks in here, chips and different things on this. You see this thing back here? They got a bunch of chips on there, but you have to pay for those. They charge you at the end, all the snacks. And then there's room service, so you can order different Thai food, I guess, if you want to. No pizza or burgers or anything on there. And the only thing I've ordered was a couple like different coffee drinks, and they're not bad actually. They're like, taste like regular Starbucks or whatever. So they weren't too bad, like iced coffee. So
what are you looking forward to doing first when you get out of there? Are you looking forward to getting to the Holiday Inn and kind of getting out and just like exploring things?
I'm looking forward to having a burger, maybe pizza. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I would be. I would definitely be craving all the comfort foods that I miss. Like I would definitely want all of that. Spaghetti bolognese, which they do very well in Thailand, I feel like.
They have great Italian food here.
Yeah, people never understand that, Greeny. They always say, "Why do you go to Thailand and eat Italian food?" But they have some really good Italian food places in Thailand.
Bangkok is world. I mean, this is pretty much the food mecca of anywhere I've ever been. Bangkok. I mean, they have everything. You know, I've been to a lot of places, and Bangkok seems to have the most variety of anywhere.
Yeah, is that where you see yourself then kind of setting down an anchor, is in Bangkok?
No, I'm going to look at it. So I have 4 nights at the Holiday Inn. I'm going to look at a few places. There's a couple different areas, the RE neighborhood and Anu. I'm going to look at a few places, but then I'm heading down to Hua Hin for 6 days, and I'm going to look around there. And then I'm probably going to take a ferry across to Jomtien and look down there at some condos. Then I'll decide which, you know, I want to see what the vibe is right now because I was there last year, but things may be a little different. And that's why last year when I was there, I spent a lot of time on Koh Samui. And but I know it's dead there right now, and I want to be, you know, somewhere where there's, you know, restaurants and, you know, maybe a mall, bars, you know, just things to stay busy with.
To give you some inspiration, AJ West has a comment saying that Richard Harris lived in the Dorchester Hotel for 42 years, but I think he might have got out to go outside on occasion. I think what you have is pretty rough. I mean, would you do it again? I mean, do you find, is this more difficult than you thought?
Fine. No, I just play Bejeweled Blitz on my phone all day, and that's about it. I watch videos. I've been reading a book. You know, I just, you know, it just gives you time to just relax. And, you know, really, if I could have a little bit more variety in the food, it would be a lot better. But having this balcony to go outside is definitely a plus.
Yeah, I would say for anyone that's interested, like check out Greeny's channel because he has some cool videos that do show the balcony. The one that I love, you kind of told me you were going to do this when we chatted a couple of days ago, was the day in the life. I love the time lapse stuff you did on there. That was just as funny, man. And the music, of course, cracking me up. So good choice of music there. And I just thought it was a great video. But you know, you have so many different videos on your channel, Greeny. Like you have stuff on Turkey. You share with me that you've pretty much traveled the world. So I think a question that some people would have is why Thailand?
Well, that's a good question, and I thought maybe that would come up. So, you know, I did a lot of travel in the Caribbean, you know, Jamaica and Grand Cayman, and I've been to a lot of different islands, things like that, Mexico. And then so then I started deciding, yeah, I want to, you know, retire and be somewhere warm in the winter, somewhere exotic, not, you know, not Florida, you know, not right now, maybe when I'm older. But so last September, I went to Panama and looked around there, and I went to Cartagena, Colombia, looked around there, and there's just no place like Thailand. I mean, the people are the friendliest, and here, basically, you can go anywhere in the country. When I was in Colombia last year, I mean, I strayed just a little bit out of the center of Cartagena, and I mean, I met 2 ladies. They were from Peru, and one spoke really good English. She was an attorney in Peru, and her sister didn't, but you know, obviously they speak fluent Spanish, so they wanted me to go with them to this market just out of town. And apparently the market is where all the vendors buy their stuff to sell in the tourist area, but they wanted to go there. And so we went there, and then we're leaving, and we're crossing the street, this main kind of busy street, to get in a cab. And some guy just comes out of nowhere, and he's like stopping traffic. We didn't ask him to. He's just like, and these ladies are like, "What are you doing?" And so he's like trying to escort them across the street, and then he demanded money from them. And I mean, and these ladies were cussing him out in Spanish, and we got in the thing. I mean, I thought we were gonna get killed, you know. And now I know why they wanted me to go with them. Not that I would have been able to protect them or anything, but it was rough. Like, so in Thailand, I've never felt like, you know, you wander like off the beaten path. I've never felt like you can't go anywhere. You can go anywhere you want here. You know, and the people are so friendly. The weather's great. You know, I've been to, you know, some of the places like Grenada, Jamaica, and, you know, people just hassle you all the time, you know, and, you know, you're in the tourist area, they're constantly hassling you, but you can't go to some other areas that, you know, I wouldn't go hang out in Kingston in Jamaica, and, you know, it might not be that safe. I don't know, you know, but, you know, so anyways, but I do want to explore more of Southeast Asia. Actually, last year when I was here, I was getting ready to go to Vietnam. And that's when, you know, everything got canceled. And I ended up, I was going to go to Vietnam, Bali, and then fly home from Malaysia. But, you know, it all got canceled. I ended up going to Taiwan because I'm like, oh, that looks safe. You know, Taiwan, they were handling the situation good. So, but yeah, I haven't explored Vietnam. You know, I've been a lot in Asia, but not in Southeast Asia besides Thailand. So there's other places I'd like to visit.
Yeah, and it's so easy to travel from Bangkok. You go Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Mango Sticky Rice has a question for you. You can answer this or not, up to your discretion. He's just asking, I was wondering, after everything is said and done, what did it cost you? I know you'd mentioned $1,200 for the hotel. Is that pretty much the cost of it all?
No. The flight, which so last year when I came here, I paid about $400 one way with Eva Air, and this time it was the same exact flight, same time, same itinerary, everything. Because it was a repatriation flight, it was $1,040. So, that costs you a little bit more because they're special flights. They don't have flights coming out every day. So between that and then the hotel, at the hotel I'm not paying. So it's like $1,200 for 2 weeks, but I'm not buying food. There's no entertainment. There's nothing. So, really that's not that much for 2 weeks of being in another country and getting a little bit of sun.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. I didn't think about that. So you're not going out and drinking beer all day because you're locked in a hotel. Right. But the downside of that is you are locked in a hotel.
Yeah. But luckily I'll be here for a while. So it's, I can deal with 2 weeks, it's better than staying, in Michigan.
So are you experienced? Don has a question for you saying he gets that all the time too. Why go to Thailand and eat Western food? I always say after weeks of Thai food, you want something Western, and burgers are on most menus. So yeah, do you agree with that? I definitely feel like that's for sure for me.
You know what's funny is though they have great in Bangkok and everywhere in Thailand. All the malls have a million Japanese restaurants. I love Japanese food. I've been to Japan before, so that's actually one of my favorite foods, and I eat a ton of Japanese food. So it's not really. I wouldn't say that I'm eating a lot of Western food and there's a ton of great Indian restaurants here too. And they're all ran by people from India. It's very authentic. Even the Italian restaurants I've been to, I found that the people that own them are from Italy, and they're like, directly from Italy, accents and everything, and the food's great. So
yeah, I had some really great Italian food in Jomtien once, and I talked to the owner, and he said, we chose to come here because it's too expensive to open our restaurant in Los Angeles. So he could actually fish for the food fresh and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it is interesting like that. And Don is saying, Jamaica is nonstop hassle regardless of where you are. Have you been to Jamaica yourself?
Yes, several times. Yeah, I was there a long time ago. Probably first time I went there was 1990, 91, and I stayed in Negril, which was not built up. I haven't been there in that city since then, but I hear that it's much more built up. But it was like not that built up then, but they still hassled you there. So it was a little off the beaten path, but they still hassled you there. And if you stay in your resort, it's fine if that's what you're into. I'm more into exploring and going to different restaurants. I don't want to eat in the resort every day. I want to eat at a different place every day,
So question for you. I discovered my love of traveling at the age of 45. And I'm just curious, have you been traveling all your life, or did you discover it kind of late in life as well?
Well, when I was younger, I took some trips and family trips too. And my kids, I've taken them all over. I've taken them to Spain and Italy and France. We did a trip because they were taking Spanish. We were supposed to go to Spain, but I'm like, let's go for 3 weeks and, hit the whole Mediterranean. And, a lot of domestic travel, like, going to Florida or California and things like that with my kids growing up. And, now since they're older, I've been making more international trips.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel like getting passport stamps changes your mind. It kind of rewires things for a lot of people. Bad Badger, who is living actually in the south of Thailand, says Thailand is pretty safe. Been here 9 years, never had an issue. So kind of similar to what you were saying earlier, right? Never had an issue in Thailand.
Knock on wood, but no, I mean, I've met so many great people here, and I've made a bunch of friends that I talk to on Facebook or on whatever line or whatever all the time. So it's been really great.
So one thing you'll find is, I know you're a member of the Richard Travel, the Facebook group that I have. You'll notice that as you travel, when you do get out to Hua Hin, there's a lot of YouTube creators that live in that area. So I would say definitely let maybe post on my Facebook group when you're down in that area and meet up with some other individuals. I'm looking forward to getting out there just to meet those individuals live in person. Just kind of food for thought if you want to. Go More Hike has a question for you though about what book are you reading? Give us a book recommendation.
It's just Harlan Coben. I've been, which one is this? I don't know the name, but Harlan Coben. I've been reading a ton of his books. Like I'm just binging on this guy's books. It's like mystery investigation, like police type of things like
Yeah.
that. Like kind of
I did know.
twisty things. But I did read every Grisham book. Like when the new Grisham books come out, I read those right away.
Okay. And I did notice you, like, one of your videos, you're showing that you're reading a book, but I'm just curious, did you have to bring a bunch of books with you, or are you reading most of this stuff like ebook online, or?
This is the only book I brought, and before I came, I went and bought an e-reader from Barnes and Noble, a Nook. I think it's the Nook. And so, once I'm done with this book, I'll just download books. Because yeah, you can't, you're in Thailand, you're not gonna, I don't think it's that easy to find books here.
Yeah, might be in a different language. Tommy J has a question. Any plans to get married?
I don't know.
Now we're getting personal questions. Watch out.
Maybe I'll get married again one day. I've been divorced for, I don't know, like 18 years or something. But so yeah, I mean, it could happen one day.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's more difficult to be single in Thailand because the people are there very friendly, very nice. You may meet someone. I know that's something that, good.
I got a friend here that I'll probably spend a lot of time with. Most of my friends here aren't here right now. They're trying to get back or, whatever. But yeah, so.
So tell me a little bit about, so are you going to go through an extensive apartment search when you get out? Because you got 4 days in the Holiday Inn.
I'll probably do some vlogs on that. Yeah, I'll probably, actually I was just messing around last year. I'm just figuring out how to make videos. I'm not good at editing. I just do it all on my phone. I don't, but last year, I guess the one that I have the most views on was a condo search in Jomtien.
Yes. I had a condo there for a year. Did you have a condo there for a while?
No, I looked and I was going to get one, but then I ended up spending a lot more because I just went week to week, different places. Then I ended up, somehow I ended up in Koh Samui. I ended up staying in 3 different areas there, like different weeks in different areas. And so I ended up not getting back to Jomtien.
Yeah, I had a cool condo, great location right off of Tepersit Road, like Vutele 5, right on the beach, private beach. And I think at the heat of the condo market, it was I paid a pretty penny for this, but I think now it'd probably be half the price. But yeah, I just love Jomtien. It's got a sweet spot in my heart. Let me Peter Hopkins got a comment for you, Greeny, saying if you like Harlan Coben, you should read a UK writer, Mark Billingham. Oh, little recommendation for you there. Maybe write that one down.
Yeah,
Greeny's like, I'm getting to the end of this book. I need more recommendations.
Yeah. Oh, and I was gonna tell your viewers, you're talking about your Facebook page. I have a Facebook group that I started. It's a group, and it's When Can We Travel Again? So if anybody wants to join that, and I try to keep that updated with not Thailand, but anywhere, anything I hear about different countries opening up. Like I know Costa Rica is opening. And then, do you got to have COVID tests and just different articles and different people in the group post stuff. So it's When Can We Travel Again? If anybody wants to.
When Can We Travel Again?
Tommy J,
if you get a chance, can you put a link up for that one? If you can find that on Facebook, throw that in the chat. So anyone watching it on the replay can just click on the link. That would be great. That's awesome. That's right. And then you also have an Instagram presence as well. I see. Are you posting pictures on Instagram of like your Turkey and Thailand travels?
Yeah, Greeny Travels. That's what I actually started off doing. Instagram, I like taking pictures of stuff. This YouTube's kind of newer. I've been doing Instagram a little bit longer, and it's the same thing, Greeny Travels, but it's one word, like little @ thing, Greeny Travels, and that's my main Instagram page. And the other one, I have one, Michigan Food Guy, but I don't know how much I'll be posting on that right now since I'm in Thailand. So.
Mango asking you if, good.
Oh, what, have I been to Phuket?
Yeah, have you been down south?
Yeah, I was in Phuket one time and went to the Phi Phi Islands and everything, and it was very busy down there then. But and it was over New Year's too, so it was very busy. But actually, what I'm going to do probably in December or January is I'm going to take a trip down there because I'd like to go to the Phi Phi Islands with kind of not overrun by people right now. So I'm going to check that out.
And then, are you experienced asking, are you going to stay in Bangkok or travel around? I think you kind of talked about that. You're looking to probably settle down in Bangkok for a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to be by the water. Either probably either Huen or Jomtien. You know, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Somewhere sort
Yeah.
of
Well,
busy, but a little chill. So.
yeah. I mean, I'm definitely curious about Hua Hin. So let me know how you like that area. I've only been there once for just a couple hours, and we'd
Oh,
love
I
to
went
kind of
there
get back
last
there.
year.
Yeah. The sweet spot for me has always been Jomtien. I don't know why. It just feels comfortable to me. It's still close to Pattaya. That I get the nightlife and the bar scene, but far enough away to where you can spend a couple of days on the beach and just relax. And a lot of great food places down in Jomtien. But I'll have to kind of defer to your judgment on Hua Hin. I'll look forward to watching some of those videos at some point.
Yeah, I went there for a few days last year, and it's a little bit more chill than that side. But there's a couple of Western style malls with movies. You know, if you want to go to a movie in English, and you know, good food like you said, and yeah. So you know, I'll just decide. I don't know.
Yeah, I know
Something
one of the
here.
things you had mentioned to me that you were having trouble with during the quarantine in that hotel was sleep schedules. Because, yeah, just like your circadian rhythm is off, you're not able to walk outside and get the fresh air. How are you sleeping? A little better now?
Okay, well, let's put it this way. This is by far the latest I've been up since I've been here.
Yeah.
Last
And
night I was able to stay up. I stayed up till 10 last night. I was trying to work my way up, but then I ended up getting up at 5:30 in the morning this morning. So,
yeah.
yeah. So we'll
It's
see.
so
But maybe
funny
this
because
will
you and
help
I,
me.
yeah, you and I talked a couple of days ago, and I was saying, I'm so sorry because of the time change here in America. It puts it 11 o'clock your time at night. And you were telling me like it's tough for you. You're sleeping like 4 hours at a time at weird times of the day. And I was a little concerned. I was like, I hope you don't fall asleep on me
No
during my
way.
live show.
This is the highlight of my last week. Are you kidding me? This is like,
Yeah. So
I could
I
do this
loved it.
every night. This could be. Yeah.
Well, hey, we can make it a daily occurrence. I just have to do like a live show for you. We'll do daily updates.
Hey, for the
But
next 7 days, I have no plans.
So I got to tell you, so I was so relieved when I saw that you posted your new turkey video up on YouTube because I said, oh, he's awake. He just posted a video up. So that's a good sign for the live show. He's not going to sleep through it.
Yeah. It's weird here. The internet connection is like terrible at times. Like right now, probably maybe everybody's sleeping. So, you know, there's not as many people using it, but the upload speed is pretty fast. So you know, it's like everybody's probably downloading stuff, but the upload was actually pretty fast. So
yeah, and for those of you that don't know, like for live streaming, like the upload is super important. So yeah, to have over 10 for upload is perfect. I've had times, Greeny, where I've come on and have been down to 4 for up, and it's not been a pleasurable experience on the live show. So yeah, it's awesome. It's pretty good. So just so you know, Greeny, the moderators have put links to your Facebook group and your Instagram in the chat. So anyone watching the replay, you can just go to the chat there. I'll post. Got the Instagram here, Greeny Travels on Instagram. Yeah. And then the Facebook group is Guess Where I Was. Is that the right one?
That's basically the same as the Instagram. That's just my pictures from Instagram go on that. But the group, that's a page, but the Facebook group is When Can We Travel Again?
Okay, When Can We Travel Again? So guys, search that out on Facebook because there's going to be some good information on there. Awesome. Well, we're kind of coming to the end of our time, Greeny. I can't believe how quickly the time goes by.
Oh, we got to go another hour. Are you kidding me?
It's almost midnight now. See, so like we're helping with your sleep schedules. But I would just say to anyone listening,
if I could just have a beer, it would be perfect. I'd pass right out.
I would send one to you, but it would probably cost me $1,600 in import taxes. Yeah, it sucks. But yeah, thank you so much for all the information today. I would say everyone, please go to Greeny Travels, consider subscribing. There's some great informational videos around the whole process he went through coming from America into Thailand, the forms you need, the medical insurance you're going to need, the tests you're going to need coming in beforehand, what that process was like for him, and then what the process is like at the hotel during the quarantine. And then if that's not enough, some great videos on Turkey, which I felt like that's very timely because Turkey is one of the few countries that we can all go to. So take a look at that. Definitely blew me away, some of those buildings in your latest video. You're making some great videos. I feel like your channel is going to take off. Don't forget about us small YouTubers when you take off and get 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, right. I got a long way to go. But yeah, that region of Turkey, Cappadocia, that is one of the most amazing places in the world. I mean, it's all people. They all lived in caves there, and the caves are. I stayed in a cave hotel. I made a video about that. So, all these old caves. They turn them into hotels there in Cappadocia, and every morning, like 100 balloons go up, hot air balloons filled with people, up to 24 people in each balloon, and just go over the region. And it's amazing. If you ever go to Turkey, go to Cappadocia. It's one of the most amazing places in the world.
Thank you, Peter, for putting the link in there for the Facebook group. When can we travel again? Appreciate that. So anyone watching the replay, feel free to search that out. That's going to be great. Go more hike. Peter just beat you. That's great. I got some great moderators, man. They're definitely taking care of you there. So yeah, great videos, Greeny. Thank you for coming on such short notice. I wish you the best of luck. Please keep in touch. Let me know how the quarantine goes. Unfortunately, I think you'll be out of the hotel. Yeah, for sure. But we'll look to have you back, and would love to kind of get more information on your expedition to get a condo. Okay. Great. Thanks a lot.
Nice talking to you, Richard. Thanks. All right. Appreciate it.
Talk to you later. Bye. Great guest. A lot of great information there, guys. I hope you took some notes. It's definitely interesting. He went through a lot to get there, but he was so detail oriented. I feel like that really helped him out in getting through, especially with Thai immigration. All the questions around, do you have a picture of your friend's ID that you're gonna be meeting up with? Giving a little bit of hassle on, you're only staying at the hotel for 4 days, not 4 weeks. So I felt like a great information there, a lot of great information. One thing I took away from it is there's a chance for us all to get back there. It's just depending on what time you want to go back there. If I was free to go back now, if it was good to go, hey, there's no worldwide situation going on, I probably would decline to go just because nothing is open. Nick, our friends over at NDTVI, did a video on Soy 7 and Soy 8, pretty much all closed down. And those are two of my favorite bar areas during the daytime. There's like a Subway that used to be there, used to eat at every day. And so I would just say, pick your time wisely. You want to have stuff open, not closed. When I went in February of 2020 and did the Richard Return series, things are starting to kind of close down. I had one bar that I went to one day, the next day, completely closed down in the Soy Bucao area. So it's a little bit on the sad side. So I got a great outro video I'm getting ready to show you guys. And this is sort of in thanks again to Chuck from No Time to Be Sad. What a gentleman he was to come on. Guy's super busy. He pumps out content like nobody knows, and just information going out every day on his YouTube channel, but he made time to come on my live show. So I wanted to kind of put together a little funny video with some of his video clips in there. And hopefully it kind of, if you haven't seen that live stream, it'll kind of pique your interest to go back and check that one out. And also just my way to say thanks to all my guests that I've had on over the months. I'm always reluctant to thank everyone on the live stream because I know I'll forget one. And so I put together this outro video to thank everyone. And I'll let Greeny Travels know that he'll be in the next week's outro video. So when I have a new guest on, we'll make a new compilation for the next week. I always try to keep it current. So I would just say thanks for everyone that came in today and viewed the live show. Really appreciate each and every one of you. And I will see you next Saturday on the Richard Travel Saturday Live Show.
Hey, Chuck.
Hello. You don't mind if I have a cocktail, do you?
No, go for it, man. I was thinking before I brought you in, Chuck, I wonder what you're more excited about, either being on the special Richard Travel live show or the fact that you'll no longer have to see all my messages asking you to come on the live show.
Yeah, you have been asking me for a while. So.
Literally walk out Savannah Boom Airport to get your taxi and it's bang! And that's the first time you get the Thailand smell, Thailand smell. And it's like, yeah, this is it. Here I am.
Yeah.
I just finished up my video of it today, and I gave you a little shout out on the video as well.
Oh, thank you.
The original theme was not No Time to Be Sad. It was I don't have time for this shit. And that was I love Thailand. I had a lot of crazy experiences on my first trip, but I left here kind of like in a trance. Like I just saw things differently in life. Well, I never mentioned this on my channel before, so her